How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. I've told you all my background. It's going to be down below in featured articles and videos. If you don't have the information, can't get it, please call me at 203-556-1493 or Daryl, DARYLTQRS @yahoo.com. Most recently, we were down at the Senate subcommittee down there supporting Sam Salipar's allegations when it came to, and he's the whistleblower for the Boeing 777-787. We have documentation going above and beyond what Sam is saying, corroborating what he's saying, and it's even worse than what he's saying because they gave up supplier auditing for over 22 years in a supplier bulletin. We have all that information. The news media does not want this out. In fact, after I did a video on this committee done by the Homeland Security was being watched over by communist China between 2015 and 21. So if you look at my expression, when they started talking about DOJ, DHS, and of course the FBI, I had that expression of, oh my goodness, where am I standing? In Peking, China? And I really mean that. It's a sad state of affairs, and we're going to show you right now. This video today is about QA expert Daryl Guberman. Shows that the failure of the DOJ by sitting on ANSI-ANAB's board right over by Boeing. And there's a failure indeed when you have companies and corporations and federal agencies so close, so intimately intertwined. Let me just show you. In 2009, the FAA gave Boeing regulatory authority. That means they didn't have to tell anybody about the MCAS system they put in the aircraft. They didn't have to. They're FAA regulator. Okay, that means every CEO that was at Boeing are basically an administrator of the FAA because they're employees. But the employees were not being paid by the FAA. They were being paid by Boeing themselves. So the FAA administrator would theoretically be the CEO. We're going to continue on. FAA increased the authority of Boeing's commercial airplanes division to self-certify its own aircraft. For those people who don't know what self-certification means, that means they design it, develop it, build it, fly it, and approve it. The MCAS system, along with aircraft designs, did not have to be told to the FAA because Boeing is an FAA regulator since 2009. And here it goes. Authority extended to Boeing under the new system allows Boeing employees to perform tasks on behalf of the FAA that include oversight of testing and product standards, along with certification of aircraft technologies and new aircraft designs. Do you hear that? Certification of aircraft technologies, that's MCAS, and new aircraft designs, that's the 787 aircraft that Sam Salipar was exposing, along with 777. Boeing's inspection work is already delegated to FAA-appointed in-house company inspectors who report most of their findings. And I'm going to read you what a lawyer said from Texas, a U.S. attorney, Aaron Neely Cox from the Northern District of Texas. He said, the misleading statements, half-truths, and omissions communicated by Boeing employees to FAA impeded the government's ability to ensure the safety of the flying public. This case sends a clear message. The Department of Justice will hold manufacturers like Boeing accountable for defrauding regulators, especially in the industries where the stakes are high. Why? Boeing is a regulator. Did he get the memo? Probably not. So let's continue. You have ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental corporation that has both federal agencies and corporations on board. In 2018, the American National Standards Institute and the American National Accrediting Board became basically one company, but they tried to keep it separate, but they took it over. ANSI is in control over ANAB. You also have the factor that ANSI was a founder of the IAF, and ANSI and ANAB both at the time in 2015 to 21 sat on the IAF being controlled by no other than Zhao Jinwu. Zhao Jinwu is a communist Chinese national who's been involved with our quality since 1994. We're not going to get into detail. You'll find it down below the video. Okay, and he is mandated by his country of origin, Communist China, to take our data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. Here we have the Department of Justice, and we have a special guest. We have Merrick Garland here, the Attorney General. And here they are sitting on ANSI's board. Okay, do you find anything wrong with that? Anything yet? You have the U.S. Department of Transportation, where you have Peter Buttigieg, another guy who popped in from Washington, who says, we have to, our regulator, the FAA, he says another one, but the FAA made Boeing a regulator in 2009. You have the Department of Homeland Security. Remember, I went to the committee meeting, okay? Yet they sit on ANSI's board, okay? Do you find anything between 2015 and 21? They are watched over by Communist China. In fact, by ANSI and ANAB still being on the IF, right over by the China National Accreditation Services, which is the equivalent in accreditation to ANAB, we have some serious issues going on. And here's Mr. Morakis, also the FBI, where you have Christopher Wray, who always states during Senate subcommittee hearings that we must maintain vigilance over China because it's very bad for the way of life here. Yet between 2015 and 21, his agency was watched over by Communist China. So when I see him getting interviewed, this is the suit that I see him in. If he doesn't know that, shame on him. Now we're going to continue on. The Federal Aviation Administration and Boeing sit together. The FAA gave Boeing regulatory authority, as I read it to you, and the employees, most of the information was told to the FAA. Not all of it? You gotta be kidding me. So Boeing, FAA, how do they don't. How could one regulator watch over another? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS, @yahoo.com. I thank you.